We begin in the name of God, the most gracious and the most merciful. May peace and blessings be upon all his noble prophets and messengers, beginning from Adam to Moses to David to Jacob, John the Baptist, Jesus Christ, and the last and final prophet, Muhammad. Peace be upon him. The topic of today is the importance of being nice to your neighbors. The Prophet Muhammad said that any person who believes that he will one day be questioned by God on the day of judgment, he should make sure that his neighbors are not sleeping hungry while he himself has eaten well. This shows how important it is that we make sure that we are not selfish while it's coming to eating ourselves with a full belly, while there might be someone in a neighborhood who hasn't had enough food to eat. In another hadith, the Prophet Muhammad said that we need to share our food with our neighbors as much as we can, as much as possible. And this is mentioned in Muslim. The Prophet also encouraged people to be courteous and kind to neighbors. Exceptionally courteous and kind, actually. The Prophet forbade people from scorning or belittling a gift which is given by a neighbor, just in case you may not like the gift, just in case you might make a facial expression that might hurt your neighbor. This is forbidden. And this is mentioned in Muslim. In another hadith, the Prophet warned that if a neighbor does not feel safe from anyone's harmful ways, then it means that you're not truly a believer. It means that you don't truly believe that there is going to be a day of accountability, a day of judgment on which you will face God. And the neighbor is going to actually complain to God about your harmful ways. So you cannot just say that you are a believer, you believe in God, you believe in the day of judgment, you believe in the day of accountability. And yet your actions are just the opposite of what you say you believe. The angel Gabriel, on one of his visits to the Prophet Muhammad, was so emphatic about being good to neighbors. The Prophet actually began to feel that the angel Gabriel was actually going to say to him that the believers have to be so nice to their neighbors, they would actually have to pass on some of their inherited wealth to their neighbors. The angel Gabriel didn't say that, but the emphasis by which the angel Gabriel was speaking to the Prophet on being nice to neighbors made the Prophet think that the angel Gabriel would eventually be saying such a thing. This is to show the emphasis on how important it is to be nice to your neighbors. And this is mentioned in both Bukhari and Muslim. And lastly, the Prophet spoke on a very important topic. Many of us fast and pray and worship God excessively or even a lot. But this is something that is thought-provoking. The Prophet said that anyone who is harmful to his neighbors will have to account for it, will be punished by God for that. It doesn't matter how much he was fasting or praying. On the other hand, someone who actually fasted and prayed very little, but was extremely nice to his neighbors, this is what will please God more than someone who is fasting and praying a lot and harmful to his neighbors. I think this is something that we really need to think about properly. In today's day and age, we see believers praying and fasting a lot. But if we are not good to our neighbors, it actually shows that there's a big lacking in our faith, in our belief, that on the day of judgment, we are going to be facing the complaint of that neighbor, and we are going to be in deep trouble on that day. We hope that God allows us to benefit from this little talk. Thank you very much.